and good evening, everyone. I think everyone knows me, but sometimes it's nice to see faces too. Tessa, you're welcome to show us your lovely face if you like. So, but I'm Janelle Spellman. Obviously, you know me. I don't know, everybody's squares are always in a different order. So, but if you haven't got to meet Amber before, there's her smiling face. She made it back home through all the snow and stuff we had here. So I just wanted to kind of recap some of the things we went over this weekend. We had the Thriven magazine kickoff training, which was super amazing. Like some of the featured thrivers in there did some awesome training. So, and then we just had, took some time to recharge and hang out and have fun. And yeah, it was just really good to kind of mull over some of the things that we learned. So, Amber, do you have anything you want to kick us off with? I was just going to kind of go over some of my notes that kind of stuck out to me. And
I think, yeah, I would love for y'all to kind of share the things that kind of hit you, being that y'all been thriving for a little bit now. I think the biggest things, because I say these things all the time, and I preach these things all the time, where consistency, daily action, showing up and doing the same things every single day, branding yourself a thriver, doing birthdays, three-way chats and messages, utilizing that third-party validation, because it's not about you. It's not about you not knowing anything. It's not about you closing the deal. It's about that connection with someone else. And it also pulls you out of having to close the deal, and so it takes, especially if you're a good relationship with those people, it takes you out of having to be that person. And then everybody is always thankful for that extra story. Everybody's always thankful for that extra side, and that, oh, well, Janelle works out all the time and she this and that, and I don't work out. And so like when they hear my story, over hers, they think because she does all the things that she does is why she's so good. It couldn't possibly be the thrive, and so for them to hear somebody else that was like, I was tired, exhausted, worn out, stressed out, I wasn't working out, I wasn't doing, and then I actually started feeling better from the inside out, then they're like, wait, I relate to that, so you just never know whose story they're going to pick up on everything in it. And so doing that third party validation, and then Janelle, when she's talking, to y'all's people, there's just a different connection. And we always say, oh my gosh, you've heard my story so much. You've seen my story all over Facebook. Here's my friend Michelle. I can't wait for you to hear her story. It's just that different connector. And so y'all will hear me say that all the time. But that is something, though, this weekend, that just being there, watching y'all together, watching the training, those little light bulbs that were like, oh yeah, I need to do that. I need to do this. And I know, I'm like, I say that all the time, and even Michelle was like, I know you say this, so, but it's that reminder that this company isn't going anywhere. We are here to stay, have people, and it's that, hey, I've got to run with what I have. I've got to run with putting other people first to help them feel better. Because, I think we're not doing this. Obviously, yes, you can make an income at this, but nobody that started, at least on our team, we did not start with this like $1 million mindset. We started with, oh my gosh, I need to feel better. I can feel better in 3 easy steps. Oh my gosh, I can feel better for free. Refer 2 friends, get it for free. Hey, wait, what's this VIP 800 thing, and then running after that to help people get $660 on their first $800 in orders in their first 2 weeks. Oh, you can double that. I mean, so we just ran with that, duplicate it over and over and over and over. And we still do, I have a brand new promoter that hit all her bonuses, and I'm 6.5 years in. And so that it's still happening. It's still possible. But then also I love that on the training on Saturday, that they touched on not every person that's hit millionaire status in this company, not every person came out hitting their bonuses. So if you didn't hit your bonus, it doesn't mean you're not going to be successful with this company. It just means you just got to keep sharing, you know, and don't stress about the past. Like, I'm huge on don't look back. You're not going that way. Don't look back there. You can only grow when you're looking forward and you're moving ahead. So I'll let the two of y'all share your takeaways, and then, you know, if you have any questions for me, you can kind of pop in.
Michelle, I'm gonna unmute you and let you go, and then we'll go from there. So just share kind of some of the main takeaways that you heard or that struck you, because again, like Amber said, these are all things that we've heard a lot of times, but sometimes just coming from a different person or said in a different way, it's like, oh, right, I get it.
Right. So you know, when I started thriving, I really kind of took off, and I was like, I want to do this. I'm going to do this. And I was on fire. I mean, I really was like, I was like, we're going to run. And I did. I hit the VIP 800. And I was like, I remember having that conversation, because I was like, it's not real. Like, it's not real money. Like, and it was. So that was, you know, great. And then it was like, I hit this really good stride, and I was going, and everything was great. And then I hit my 4K, which was amazing. And I happened to hit it at a really like rough point, in my life. And it was great. And then it was like, and then it just kind of started going downhill. So, and over the last, I'd say it's been about a year. Over the last year, it's just kind of been this ebb and flow of, you know, a little extra money here, and then nothing next week, and then a little bit extra here, and a little nothing this week. And so I've just kind of been hobbying with it lately, really, is what it's been. And obviously 2020 hit, and it's been ridiculous. So when you guys were talking about, let's do this retreat, I'm like, you know, now's the time. Like, I need some money. I need some cash. I need to figure out how I'm going to do this. And what's great is I'm leaving one business where my job is to make people feel better with physically, you know, with just their bodies. And now I'm like, well, why not keep that going? And now I have this great tool that I can share with people, that not only am I going to make people feel better, I get to like make some money at it. Right. So, going into this, it's like that big question, like, how do I get people back? Like, how do I get people again? Because it's so, it's like we get in that mindset. It's so hard. It's so hard to find people. I have all these people, and it's so hard. Like that. And we get those like people that jump in, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to have anything to do with it. And it makes you feel bad, and it like lets you down, and you're like, oh, well, okay. So when I think it was that working Zoom, that first one, and it was like, that really like, oh, even though it wasn't what we expected it was going to be, like it was, oh, this is easy. Like, hold on. So just breaking it down, like the whole friends list, like, and I know you say it all the time, like the birthday is like, check in with people, like, you know, and it's like, when we walk through it step by step, it's like, okay, no, this really is easy. And like, since then, since Friday night, so Saturday, Sunday, today's Monday, you know, I've checked in with those birthdays. I have 3 minis heading out the door. I've got, you know, new customers that I've got emails to set up their accounts for them. And one of the things that also hit me was the, setting up their accounts for them. Like that, you can do that, because sometimes when you send out a link and you're like, hey, check this out, people like, oh, okay, whatever. And maybe they'll click on it and they'll look at the videos, but they don't really like create that account. Not only does creating the account get you that person like in your cloud, so you can see what they're doing, but it starts that relationship, because you can then send that out to them and say, hey, look, so this is your very own personal link. Like this is, and it's great. So Janelle, when she set up mine,
right, which is funny because I did do that for you. Well, and I just want to look at that just a little bit. I love the verbiage that Susan used on that. And she just said, I need to send you a video that talks about what's in your pack. What's your email?
Yes.
Easy peasy.
Yes. And that was key. And that's what I actually used that. I used that on, 2 of my clients. I was like, oh my gosh, wonderful. So I'm going to send this out to you for your birthday, and, shoot me your email so you get all the information on everything that's coming to you in your pack. And one of those things is, if you know that person, with that creating an account, a lot of, you want to go like typically I would go like their first name, last name at Lavelle or whatever. But like Janelle, she and I are friends, and she didn't go that route. And she plugged in funny woman, which cracked me up because I was like, oh my God. And it's been my thing now, like ever since. I'm like, no, yeah, that makes me feel good. Like it's awesome. So, be that creating an account, because it really does create like an extra added piece to that building relationships, because I think above everything else, that's super key. Like making sure that it's not all about here, I just want you to try my product. It's how are you? Like, I hope that everything's great, and you start that conversation like with the birthdays, like how are you celebrating? What are you doing for your birthday? Like, how's it going? And they respond, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And then you're like, I'm gonna send out this birthday pack to you. And they're like, oh my God, that's so awesome, thanks. I'm like, awesome, they're not saying no. Like,
right. Well, and one of the things there too, just on that, just again, a simple little thing was when you're telling them happy birthday, end with a question, engage, what fun thing are you doing, for your birthday, but end it with a question, not just happy birthday, because then they're like, thanks. And then it's the conversation's done. But like, what fun thing are you doing? How are you celebrating? Or, whatever. End with a question.
Yes. Yeah. So that was, obviously that was a really big one. That, and obviously showing up every day, because I wasn't. And that whole, like, it being a hobby, it was like, okay, well, I'm just going to check in, once or twice, like maybe I'll piddle in it over here. And it's when you show up every day is a brand new opportunity, to talk to new people. And if you can't find those new people, like, then look through your list, look through your friends list, find the people that are watching the story. That was a great way, like posting things on your story and going back later to check to see who looked at your story. That was another really cool little piece of that, was that, you'll post something, but they won't always they won't engage, but you can go back and see that. And I didn't realize that either. I didn't realize that you could actually see the individual people that viewed your story. And then it's like, oh, that's like a whole nother pool of people. Like, it's just, so
I'm gonna jump in on that real quick. Natasha calls that her free leads list. Like, nice. That is like, if you go, because you can see, you can get the whole list for each day of who's seen your stories. And the more you do stories, the more you're consistently doing stories, the more people see them. I will do stories. I hate watching stories. Like, I don't even understand how all these people are just sitting there watching stories. Like, I like to do the post. Like, I like to scroll and see posts. It's just my brain. It's just how it is. And so to sit there and do stories, it's just not my thing. But people are watching stories. It's like, it's what they have to do, especially now with, reruns and whatever, and they've binge watched everything else, so now they have to binge watch the stories in real life people. But that way you have that list, and then you can write those down and figure out really quickly who's your non-drivers out of that list of people, that leads list. And then you start interacting with them, start integrating them into your Facebook, all of that stuff, or just messaging them back even on their own story, like, oh my gosh, how funny, or, oh, we had chili today too, or, anything, because you can respond right then in their stories. And the more you act in their stories, and they start to watch your stories, all that stuff. So
you interact, I was gonna say, when you respond in their stories, it goes directly to Messenger as well. So then you have that conversation in Messenger that's outside of like just the feed on Facebook too. So
yeah, it's great. And so Michelle, I'll let you continue. And we're actually having a team Zoom tomorrow night, if y'all saw it, at 7 o'clock Central. Let's figure that one out. 7 o'clock Central. So 6 o'clock your time. And that's, I'm interviewing Natasha, and 2 other girls. One's brand new, is like top 5 in my PPA of the whole team right now. Natasha's in the top 10. The other girl, I think she's like top 6. So it's, what are they doing? And Natasha's going to talk about, like, she's doing everything she's always done. She's just doing it in her story leads. So. Okay, you could finish, Michelle, if you had anything else. I just had to jump in on that.
No worries. No, that was great. Like, and it's I can't
there she is.
so I'm totally gonna tune into that for sure. Natasha's great. If anybody hasn't had an opportunity to like watch her on one of her lives, by the way, like, or just anything that she posts, she's so cute. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was, I'm actually going to just kind of, Janelle, I know you probably picked up some things that were different than what I picked up, but those little things, the posting, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it really is important. It really, not only does it help you keep track, it helps you just kind of get your mindset organized. And for me, being the overachiever that I sometimes tend to be, my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 would look like a 12, 6, 4, whatever, like totally out of and which is okay. You can go above and beyond, but keeping it simple, that whole, just simplify it. Don't overthink it. Don't try to do, and I hate to say that, but don't try to do more than you have to. Because I think, for me anyway, I would get overwhelmed. And it's because it's like, I have so many people that I want to reach out to. Oh my gosh, all these people, I'm going to message them all at once. Then all of a sudden I've got 17 messages coming back at me. And I'm like, ah! 5 is a way more manageable number. 4 is a way more manageable number. Check me back into that.
And the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I just thought about this when you said that. Kind of think of it, it's a baseline. So it's kind of like couch potato to 5K, where like they start just simple and increase. And so that's what 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is. It's kind of like couch potato to 5K without killing you. And then there's, if you want to increase that to a 10K or a half marathon, right? You would increase your daily every day. So it's the same with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So just to share kind of, so for the new girls, 5, 4, 3 or 1, Brad's on here too. Sorry. You're hidden, honey. I forgot you're there. There's a boy here too. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5 reach outs every day. And that can be your birthdays. It's just, talking to the people, creating that relationship like Michelle was talking about. 4 follow-ups.
It doesn't have to be about Thrive.
It does not have to be about Thrive. Exactly. 4 follow-ups. So that's people that you've already talked to about Thrive, but, just kind of reaching back out again. 3 social media posts. So choose your platform. It does not have to be 3 separate, platforms. Facebook or Instagram, I think, are probably most popular, but whatever you want to do is fine. 2 new names on your list, and then 1 reach out to a leader. That could be reaching up to myself or Amber, or reaching down to a leader on your team. So just doing those 5 things every day. Will, like Michelle was talking about, just kind of build that foundation. And then from there, like, keep doing that consistently, and then you can start doing more. So I can talk without using my hands. I'll sit on my hands. Sorry.
Oh, I do the same thing. I do it in the car. Yeah. So, okay. So I want to kind of stop really quick and see if Sandy or Stephanie or Tessa, if y'all have any questions so far, because this is a small group Zoom where we can just kind of like share and grow and learn together.
I don't have any questions right now.
Who is that? Is that Stephanie?
Yep.
Okay. I was like, wait, I heard a voice but didn't see lips move. So I was like, I don't know who said that. All right. Awesome. Okay. All right. Janelle, what was your remainder?
Oh my gosh. So many things, but I will not bore you guys. just little things even, people know when you're talking to them like a checklist. That was one of the things I think a few people talked about. So make sure that when you are talking to them, when you're reaching out to them, that it's relational. That's like, I see you, like, oh my gosh, I love that post about whatever, your chili looked amazing, or, whatever. Just make it personal to them. Be genuine, be who you are. I'm probably going to say things differently than Michelle would, or Amber would, or Sandy would, like anybody. Like, we're all a bit different. However, I don't know, Tessa's post, she has a lot. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's totally me. But yeah, so just be who you are. Another thing too, just creating that expectation when they do get a mini, because they talked a lot about the smart sampling stuff. You probably won't feel anything the first few days. Like, if you create that expectation and then they do feel something, then they're like, oh wow, cool, okay. But a lot of people don't. Like Stephanie was one of those people. She didn't feel anything right away. In fact, she probably didn't feel amazing. And Brad was kind of the same way too. So it was like, so if I tell them, you probably won't feel anything, but you can see how simple it is, and just to work into your daily routine, then they're like, oh, okay, then that's fine. And to taste the shakes and stuff. So create that expectation there. Oh my goodness. And just remember where you came from too. I mean, some of us have been thriving for quite a while now too. So, yeah, keep it simple, stop overthinking. And then just to do that VIP 800 every 2 weeks. Like, if you go, 2 customers, 2 promoters, 2 customers, 2 promoters, like, just keep going with that pattern. Then you're always going to have new people coming in, and, but it's not such an overwhelming pace that, that it totally drowns you in everything else. And quit trying to be perfect. I don't know who said that. I totally can't relate at all to that. But yeah, just quit trying to be perfect, because we're not going to be perfect. So just know we're going to mess up along the way. Yeah. And then
whoever said that was in my head.
Yeah, me too. I'm so guilty of that. And then one of the things we talked about too, because I don't have as many promoters as I do customers. I have a ton of customers that are like loyal customers and that kind of thing. But just to ask them sometimes, are you looking to just use a product, or do you want to make some money at it too? So just to throw that out to people, because there will be people that flip. Like Stephanie, you were using it for a couple of months before you flipped over. And really said, oh yeah, I do feel amazing. I do keep sharing this with people. And that's how my story was. Like, I used it for a little bit before I flipped over to promoters. So just remember to offer that to people. So 2 customers, 2 promoters, 2 customers, 2 promoters, just keep doing that. Yeah. And then as you're doing that, yeah, just like thinking, am I getting a new customer, or is it, whose life am I going to change today? Like, because all of us have seen this, like, change our lives. I always say that it's so much more than vitamins. So whose life do I get to change today? So that's really kind of a cool way to look at it. Amber, I know you had talked to, I have so many things here. Gosh. The taking up, what did you say? Paying rent on success is a daily thing.
Oh, okay. So I've heard this quote all of being, well, probably before being in Lavelle, but I hear it a lot as an independent, person, promoter, whatever, that success, the rent is due every day for success. Like, success is not owned. The rent is due every day. And did you pay your rent every day? So, like, did you do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 every day? Did you do the due that's needed to pay that rent on success every single day? And it's funny because before Thrive, being a hairdresser, like, I had to do all the things every day, whether, even if I wasn't at the salon, I had to do calls and, remind my clients, and, hey, your appointment's tomorrow, blah, 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 this time. I had to, do my inventory. I had, so there was something I was doing every day, even in that business. So it's, success is not owned. The rent is due every day. And what did you do today that you can say, yep, I paid my rent today? So.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And it is. And it's an everyday kind of thing. So I'm sorry, the school's calling. I'm like, oh brother, more snow days.
Oh, good. I was thinking, oh no, another COVID thing.
Oh gosh, no, I'm sure.
Yeah, snow days
another
makes
snow
way
day.
more sense.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and just, taking even going through this, it's like, what one thing can you apply now? Don't try to do all the things right now. Like, you're not going to be able to implement everything right away, but just, what can you apply today? I know, Michelle, your face, you're so funny. But yeah, just take, what one thing can you apply now? Like, okay, I'm going to go start doing birthdays every day. I'm going to go, start doing the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but it's like one thing. So yeah. Tessa, do you have any questions? If you don't want to unmute yourself, you can type it in the chat too. Or Sandy, you're quiet up there in the corner. You look like you're glowing.
Oh, they're so quiet.
But really, more than anything, I would just say it's being consistent. Makes the most difference of anything, and because you are gonna mess up, but
I did want to on the other part of all of that too is that when we go in to like do all the things, okay, the one thing when we go in and we do, the biggest piece of that is the follow-up. And that is where I fall short. Like, that is something that I would be like, yes, let's go. And then it's like, like, oops, I forgot. So that is where, like, for me, that is one of my goals right now is that, I've got people that I've been in contact the last couple of days where I am now like tonight, because honestly, I forgot we were doing this. So until you sent the thing and I was like, oh yeah. But those people that I have in these chats, now that I have packages going out to them, I will be plugging them in with Janelle, with Amber, getting people, getting that third party validation, because it really is important. We can try and do this all by ourselves, but it's so much better to do it with somebody else. Mm-hmm. Plug those people in, plug them into a 3-way chat, make that a thing, because it is, it's just super important, because if you can't follow up, they can help you follow up. Mm-hmm. And that is like, I need that from my people. And that's what we do, is we build these teams because we're here to help each other. And a lot of us, including myself, like, I have a really hard time asking people for help. That is just a huge thing for me. I have, I can do it on my own. I am woman, hear me roar.
Right, but we were talking about that, Stephanie, just the other day, because you were on vacation and probably not even in a spot where you had great signal. But because we had already started that conversation with that person, then I was able to jump in and say, hey, how's it going on day 3? How's it going on day 5? And that's what that teamwork looks like. And it's easy peasy. And that's what we're here for.
Well, and I'll touch in on that too, on something going even a little further vision wise, like this is on down the road with you and your team. If you're connecting your people, and that way they're connected to Janelle or, or me or whatever, that way, if something happens, like you're somewhere and you don't have signal, or something happens, like Janelle and I had some life happen in the past couple of years, and you kind of have to step back when that life happens. You have to be there for your family. Well, I can jump in, Janelle can jump in if that happens with you and your team, right? Like if you're like, Janelle, I got to take 2 days, like I got to whatever, then Janelle's there for your team, because I'm envisioning you're going to have a growing team. So when your team is large and you're like, I need 2 days, Janelle and they already know us. They're already connected to us. They already feel comfortable with us because they've been connected from day one. And so that's like another bonus of that third party validation, because if something does happen and that happens, 6 months, 2 years down the road, and we try to jump in, they're like, well, who is she? I don't want her talking to my people. Like they're not comfortable with us, if it's not been connected. So, oh yeah, Janelle and Michelle, we've all had it happen, but yeah, like there's people that are like, why is that girl messaging me? So anyway, that's just another reason to do those things. Janelle, I think your thing is running, like 4 minutes.
Oh, yeah. It is. I always forget that I have that limit on there.
If you can jump on tomorrow night, that's going to be really good. I also recommend for those of you that are like, okay, we're newer, we're hungry, what do we do? There are, and I'll send the list of the YouTube channels. Did I already send those? No. Okay. No, I sent them to somebody else. But there's about 6 YouTube channels that I would recommend, and you can go on and you can just pick any topic that you want to just watch. Most of the lunch and learns or lunch and grows, those are usually 30 minutes. One of the ones, Lisa Fuller, when I send you her channel, those are an hour plus. She always does a full in-depth, she talks, and most of her interviews are a good hour, but like those lunch and learns, lunch and grows, those are usually 30, maybe 40 minutes max. And if you're watching on YouTube or you're just listening, you can listen to the audio part. You don't have to watch it. You can listen and you can pause it and come back to it, whatever. But I would recommend on that personal development, specifically to Lavelle, how much time can you commit a week? Don't overcommit, but just be like, you know what? I can commit to 2 training videos a week, or I can commit to this a week. And there's also the training videos that are in your cloud office. Like, go through those. Those are amazing. And so you have all this at your fingertips. That's basically everything we keep saying is just from somebody else in a different tone, in a different way. And sometimes it hits differently. And I'll shut up now, Janelle.
No, you're totally fine. I super appreciate you and just all that you do for us. And yeah, so many resources that are available to us. So just plug into those, and you guys all know how to grab us and ask questions and all that stuff.
Was there a call with Susan Kaufman this morning?
Yes, it was good. So they're talking about just wrapping up with the goat stuff. So just reaching out to those people. So we have through tomorrow to grab that, and that's just $1,000. What am I trying to say? $1,000 in volume or whatever. Personal PV. Thank you. Yes, personal volume. So your orders and your customer orders, or your customers orders too, as we were talking about that earlier, Steph, just those referrals, those are your customers as well. So as far as that goes, there's like weird sounds.
Are those usually just like 15-minute phone calls?
They are. That Monday morning one is just a 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes they interview people, sometimes they do it. Yeah. So I usually send out the ones that I like to listen to. There are tons of them. So just figure out whatever ones work in your schedule, schedule them. We've talked about that too. Instead of being a list maker, schedule it in your calendar, and then that makes it easier to do. So yeah, we're about to cut off. So, but yeah, I'm just super glad you guys are all here. And then just message me if you have any questions about any of this stuff, and then be sure to jump on Amber's training tomorrow night too. So anyway, thank you guys.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.